All right. Good morning, everyone. Hopefully now I'm live in all the places I'm supposed to be live. So this is day 2 of the energy workshop. And I just want to take a moment to breathe with you. So if you're live or you're clicking on things and trying to get here live, just pause for a moment, take a deep breath. So the breath is very cool. I think a lot of you know this. And in Ayurveda and yoga, we really teach the koshas, which is these 5 layers of the self. We also teach mind, body, spirit, so not to be confused with that. And the physical body is connected next most closely to the energy body or the breath body. And then it goes to the mind, intuition, and bliss. And so when we breathe consciously, we really connect all aspects of ourselves. When we work out and we're taking conscious deep breaths, it's nourishing our spirit, our intuition. So yeah, I just wanted to take a breath with you. All right. Hopefully I'm live everywhere I'm supposed to be. Um, oh yeah, I hope so. If not, I'll share it live in the group later. All right, so today is day 2, March 30th, 9 a.m. Welcome. Thank you for being here. So Reiki is a relaxation technique that balances the body, reduces stress, and helps in the healing process. Whether we know it or not, we are all in this healing process, this healing journey right now. I think it's a little bit more obvious based on collectively what's happening. I mean, the pandemic really invited us to pause and self reflect, which I think a lot of us did. And it's, there was what I noticed was people breaking up, people getting closer, lots of babies. I mean, there was lots of interesting things that happened in the last year. And finally, energetically, we're in the new year. Energetically, the new year didn't really start until this last new moon, which was earlier this month. Whew, thank God. Finally. All right. Things are starting to open up. People are starting to go places and see each other. Yay. So back to Reiki. Reiki is energy, it's universal energy. So sometimes, different different modalities will refer to universal or life force energy as chi or prana. So however you want to think of it, whatever you've been introduced to before, Reiki is energy. Okay. It is an alternative medicine, which I think is very important. And I think if you have the workbook for this workshop, alternative medicine is the first blank. So Reiki is the alternative medicine, um, which is energy healing. So the Reiki practitioner uses their hands, again, we're talking about hands transferring energy, to channel universal energy to the patient or the client to encourage emotional and physical healing. I would even add spiritual healing. Reiki is based on Qi, which is also called life force, which I just went over, which means prana is also life force. So prana is coming from India, Qi is from China, Reiki is from Japan. So it's very important to understand like where these lineages start. Prana has been around for 2000 plus years. Reiki really got popularized, I believe it was like the 1929 or 1930s in Japan, which was pretty interesting when you look at history and the things that happened and how that energy could have been really helpful in the last century. So, and then Chi's been around for quite a while as well. So, in my mind, Reiki, Chi, and Prana are basically the same thing. However, they're implemented with different processes. So, Prana is known as life force. Chi is really referred to as life force. Reiki is more referred to as universal energy. But for me, they're all essentially the same, but they're used in different ways. Either way, you can channel these energies. And that's basically, part of the reason why I'm doing this workshop is to empower you. Like you are a master healer, you are your energy healer, and you can channel this energy and use it daily. And the more you use it, the more your energy field can purify and expand and heal, which is really cool. Okay, so in all of these modalities, your hands are the most powerful healing instruments, right? So Reiki really believes in the idea of spreading good to one another. And in order to do that, to be kind to yourself, which, if you really look at any of these, once you're on this spiritual journey, once you're on this path, it's really important to constantly be doing your own healing and your own work and your own adventuring, because that is what allows you to then give and serve and show up for others, right? So as a healer, even though it's been a long time, I feel like it's been like, oh, I don't know, 2012 was when I first started. 2000, yeah, it was 2012, 11, 12 when I first started getting Reiki sessions with my teacher, one of my teachers. And she really imparted and energetically transferred a lot of cool energy, which I didn't really understand at the time. And that's hopefully what my intention during this workshop is to, as much as I can, virtually give you that similar experience with energy. So let's do a little exercise. This is really fun. Uh, so what I want you to do is tap your fingers, tap your fingers. You can breathe consciously. Tap, 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 tap. And I shared a video about this in one of my groups. Anyways, 25 times is good. And then shake your hands. Like a little side to side. Oh. Reiki, Reiki, Reiki. Chokure, chokure, chokure. Reiki, Reiki, Reiki. And then bring your hands towards one another. I like to do this with eyes closed. And you'll start to feel the electromagnetic energy between the hands. And you can pulse with it. And if you're doing this with me right now, I'm going to think of a color. And we'll see. I don't really know if this works virtually, but when you're with a friend and you're right next to them, you can think of a color, put your hands up to feel their hands and think that color, and they might think it. So trying it. I'm trying it with you. And you might feel just like a gentle sensation through your hands. That's the energy moving. Ooh, that was warm. Your hands, if you touch them together, might feel a little bit warm. Mm. And then what I like to do is then put them on my body or absorb the energy. Sometimes I absorb it into my heart. But really, whatever is intuitively calling to you is what's right. A lot of this stuff is not overthinking it and just feeling. Just feeling into how do you feel called and then trusting that's how you feel called, right? So this whole journey for me, it means that you have to heal yourself and love yourself deeply so that you can share and spread the energy and the love. And if we're not really doing the work on ourselves, it's not as powerful when we give or share that for others. So I hope that you felt a little bit of energy. The color that I was sending, can you guys put that in the chat? Did anybody feel a color? I don't really want to tell you yet. I don't know if it works virtually. It does work when you're right next to someone and they put their hands there, which is really cool. And my first energy teacher, my first real mentor, did that game with me, the color game, and I guessed the color that they were visualizing and sending, and and I got it right, which was really cool. I don't really know if it works virtually, but I tried it. So, um, see real quick if there's any comments about that energy. It's interesting being in this setting, in this virtual setting, because my, I really want it to be a exchange of energy between us, but that only works if I like pause and, see if there's any comments. So I don't see any comments. Nobody wants to guess what energy. Do we need to do it again? It doesn't matter if you don't get the right color. I don't even know if it works virtually. Okay. So a lot of times what I'll do if I'm giving my partner a massage or if my son scrapes his knee, I will bring Reiki. So 3 claps works, 3 snaps works. Reiki, Reiki, Reiki. Chokure, chokure, chokure. And you then can place the hands in healing. So I wanted to share a little bit because I basically was certified in Reiki on acid. I mean, that's how I like to describe it. It's Avesa quantum healing with Shri and Kira. And this was when I went to Ecuador, and it was a certification in how to do Atlantean healing chambers and Avesa quantum healing. And really, the idea is using your intuition. And I did bring these tools that I didn't mention yesterday. These are my Egyptian healing rods, right? So they have crystals combination. Different rods have different crystals inside of them. So when I hold these and then I do the Avesa breath, which is the saw breath, it's channeling the energy, right? So I'll put my hands on my son if he like scrapes himself and channel the energy. If I'm massaging some tension out of my partner, I'll channel the energy. And that's really what one of the reasons why I wanted to do this live and share, because you can do that. You can start doing that now. I am blessing you to do that. Like, as a human being on the planet right now, you have the energy that you need. You do. And you can keep harnessing it and building it and making it more powerful. But you don't necessarily need to do a certification in any of those things, or then you can, and it will help. And you can start now. Like, you can start today. You can Reiki your crystal. Reiki, Reiki, Reiki. Chokure, chokure, chokure. Right? And what happens is a lot of these things, you're closing your eyes, you're taking conscious breaths, so you're becoming more in tune with the energy that you're channeling. So cool. And it really doesn't take that much except your intention and your awareness to be an energy master. Like I said, certifications are great, but you can spend or you could invest a lifetime in getting certifications, and like, you are already a master healer right now. Like, you just have to believe you are and start to channel the energy, which is pretty cool. So I think as far as my story, the first time that I really did Reiki, it was pretty intense. So this teacher has left the planet currently, although she might be back. I don't know. She's pretty interesting. But when she would do Reiki sessions on me, she would explain all these magical, mystical energies moving around in the room. And I was like, okay, lady. Like, I thought she was a little bit crazy. I was like, what is happening? But there was a lot of things, I would say yes. And there was a lot of things that she taught me that I could understand. Like, I was an empath, that my intuition chakra was like, like, certain things that really helped me on my journey. So when you work with people, especially in person or in close relationship, you can totally do this on Zoom. You We are catalysts for each other becoming healers, right? So if someone's on their journey, they're healing, they're doing their stuff, they're healing themselves, they're working on their spirituality, if you will, self-reflecting, like realizing, "Oh, I should probably not lose my temper," or whatever the thing is. you being around someone else that's also a self healer or a healer, it empowers you. So, anyways, I just wanted to share that because I didn't know half of the stuff that Maya was doing when she was hanging out with me. Like really didn't. I was like, I don't know about this lady. Like, I'm just gonna trust, but I really don't know what's happening. And energetically, she transferred so much wisdom and knowledge to me that I couldn't even comprehend at the time. So, always being open, I think, is important. Being open minded and just allowing things to unfold to you as they will. Like pretty much everything in life makes sense spiritually in retrospect. It didn't really make sense for X, Y, and Z in my past, but now it makes sense, right? It doesn't really make sense why Maya was doing all that energy stuff in the room when I was sitting there, but now it makes sense to me, right? So I think that's pretty much it. The only other thing that energetically, an energy breath that I use all the time, which a lot of you do know because you have worked with me, but if you haven't worked with me, it's called the Avesa breath. And I do have a video of this on YouTube where I'm all dressed steampunk, which is kind of funny. But the Avesa breath is Ave, which is like Ave Marie, or I hail to, I acknowledge, I am bringing my awareness to this, Ave Marie, and then Sa, which is to the infinite unknown. So Ave is Latin, Greek or Latin, I think it's Latin, and Sa is Sanskrit. So Ave Sa is the breath. And what you do is bring your hands to your heart. And I invite you to do this right now. As much as I can, I'm going to send all my intention and love so that you feel this the same way that I do or similar. So you breathe in awareness to your heart. And then you exhale Sa. Sa. And do 3 more. Don't care if you look silly right now, just do it. You can do it out loud if you want. Awareness in the heart. I hail to my own heart. I hail to the universe. Last one. So there's a spectrum of feeling there. If you did those evasive breaths with me, if nothing else, should at least feel relaxed and a little bit calmer because you were folding your hands on your heart and breathing with awareness in your heart. Energetically, if you're more attuned or further on the journey, you probably felt electromagnetic energy moving through your hands and then throughout your whole body. So the evasive breath is very, very powerful. And you can totally message me if you want to know anything more about that, because I use it all the time. Now, when I use the evasive breath with, yeah, tingles, exactly. See, I got it. Thank you. Thank you for commenting. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's tingly. So when I use my Egyptian healing rods, which have crystals that are charged specifically for the evasive breath ish, well, that's kind of rough, but anyway, we use them in our Atlantean healing chambers, right? To draw a triangle of energy around someone and then to get their chakras to spin in infinity symbols instead of just circles. Anyways, it's a very cool healing. But when I do it with these are the these are the star consciousness ones. So your star consciousness spot is like above your third eye right here. It's said to be like another chakra, but it's, it's basically like your third eye on acid. We'll just say it's really hyper supercharged. But anyways, when I do the evasive breath holding these, it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's intensified, and part of that is because I went to the ninth dimensional activation with the teachers, right, who created these and who taught me the healing. But part of it is because I'm holding the healing tool. And there's lots of healing tools, lots of ways to channel the energy. But bottom line, I think basics is your intention, your breath, your awareness channels energy. You can call it chi, you can call it prana, you can call it reiki. They, like I said earlier, they have different modalities and processes to use those things, but it's all energy, and you are energy. You are basically electromagnetic energy. So what is it? Like electricity, light, and stardust. I mean, that's essentially what you are. Like, so if you we don't just disappear when we die. I mean, there's energy there, right? So it's just an interesting thing to, if you haven't yet thought about these things and then started to embrace them. So, anyways, the whole reason that I'm live and doing this workshop every day is really just to empower you to use these energy tools, to use energy to help you on your healing journey, which then helps you serve others. So, I really hope this was helpful. I don't think I have a lot left to share. A vase of breath, Egyptian healing rods. Like, have a wonderful day. If you leave, that's fine. Um, Yesterday we talked about crystals. Today we're talking about the energy. Tomorrow I'm going to share a little bit about chakras. Thursday I'm going to share about Christ consciousness, the fifth dimension, self ascension, all of the things that are happening right now on the planet that I feel like are really important for us to be aware of. So that's Thursday. Friday I'm going to share about um, healing and community groups, and like how do we start to really apply all these things and use them in our lives. So I hope that all this was helpful. Please send me any messages with any questions, or just, I don't know, even encouragement. I felt a little bit like vulnerable yesterday. I was like, oh man, because it's not like we're in the same room, but we are in the same room. In my mind, like, I see, okay, there's a few of my friends watching on Instagram. There's a few of my friends watching on Facebook. So we're in this room together. Like the energy can transfer. So I hope you feel it. Let's just do a few saw breaths together and we'll close. So saw breath, as a reminder, bring your hands to your heart. You breathe in and you bring awareness into your heart. That's, I hail to my own heart. I acknowledge my own heart. I breathe in. And then Sa is to the infinite unknown, to the cosmos, to the universe. Hopefully you feel a little tingly, a little bit of energy. Yeah, and if you want to do an Avesa quantum healing with me, just send me a message about that too, because it's really cool and you can do them distance. So I love you all. Thank you for letting me be me. You be you, and let's do this whole energy healing life thing as humanity is evolving in this very interesting time. Okay. I don't see any other comments or things. So yeah, bye. See you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern time, Eastern Daylight Time. All right. Any other comments? Let me refresh this real quick before I go. Did anybody have any questions or any comments on any of that I need to address? Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Before I go, totally true. To me, it is the same energy as hands, laying hands on people and healing them. Holy Spirit, yeah, Pentecostal transfer of energy. Yeah. I don't really see that much of a difference because I was filled with the Spirit when I was, I think, like 12 or 13 in church. And to me, it felt very similar as getting healed in the Avesa quantum healing. I think there's a different language. I think people are using multiple different languages, just like I'll talk about on Thursday: Christ consciousness, self ascension, 5D, going from 3D to 5D. They're kind of similar. I mean, it's not like there's a lot of different things, but it's us really finding and resonating with Christ consciousness vibration, which is love and light, really. and a little bit anti-corruption of the systems, a little bit, right? It's kind of like we don't really want to see as much pain if we can as especially if you're in America, you have a lot of privilege even if you don't feel like you do. We have more privilege than most people in the world. So we really are forerunners. Well, any westernized culture. So that would include Europe too, but we are the forerunners on the planet right now for this love and light, for making a change, right? So I think it's very important for us to do our stuff, our healing stuff, so that we can turn around and give it back. Because we don't really want to see this much pain and suffering. None of us are like, "Yay, a pandemic!" No, no, we're not. This is not fun. Elderly people dying alone. eh, it's like even just saying that, I felt such a heaviness on my heart. So I think that for us to maintain a space where we're not just hurting all the time, because we can, especially if you're empathetic, you can feel, if you're an empath, you can feel the pain of the universe and you could cry about it every day. I have been there on some days, right? We can feel how much is going on. And it's really up to us to keep this perspective of there's a reason. And in my opinion, it's happening, all of it's happening, the injustice, the death, the pandemic, like everything that's happening is happening so that we can move forward and evolve together into the next best version of humanity. And that perspective allows me to continue to teach. It allows me to not be super anxious or depressed or upset about everything that's happening. It allows me to hold space for my family and for others so that we can move forward with this. Because if you look at history, like crap kind of happens, like over and over again, stuff happens and humanity survives. And so it's like, okay, so having this larger perspective allows us in the moment to be our own healer and to help hold space for others to heal. So I hope that that was helpful, little extra at the end. And again, please post. Like, it's so much more fun if this is interactive. So post and let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, what you agree with, what you don't. It's okay. Like, it's all about us learning and growing from each other. Like, that is the fastest way to evolve. When we're in our own little corner in our box, which is really easy to do with the pandemic, it's much harder for us to grow. And that's important. It is important to go inward and to not be with a lot of people and then to make some progress and go back out. And then your friends are like, "Hey, have you tried this?" Or "Did you notice that you lose your temper?" It's like, "Oh, okay. Right. Good feedback." Let me go back in, evolve some more, come back out. So now I feel like I'm rambling, but I love you all. And yeah, just let me know if you have any questions or anything else that you'd like me to touch on tomorrow. This is a really fun energy workshop. It's kind of hard to take the concept of energy and bring it down into like a few days of information. So, yeah, if I'm missing anything that's really important, please let me know, or if there's anything else you want me to expand on. Okay, I love you. I'll see you tomorrow morning and in the group. And if you're not in Health Revolution group, like if you're watching this somewhere else, you should join the group because that's where we can really talk about stuff. All right. Peace out. Love you.